Hello, anime faithful. My name is Chris Sanders, and this is Anime Debate, the one show where we take two anime and put them head to head, or we have a conversation about other stuff. Today, this is slightly other stuff and slightly a head-to-head battle. It's a hybrid, if you will. Today's topic will be forgotten by my brain. I have the manga somewhere. Ah, here it is. I was gonna say that all wrong. I really was. Despite my brain fart of sorts, The Promised Neverland is easily one of my favorite shows and mangas I've ever experienced. Long ago, I would have told you my favorite anime was Death Note. Then I would tell you it was Steins Gate. And now I'm gonna tell you that I don't have a favorite anime anymore. The Promised Neverland was great and excellent in its execution. But I never quite got to that place where it was my favorite, where I was like clamoring for more. Not that, of course, the show didn't end on a cliffhanger, which it did. And the books themselves explore more territory. But I always felt fulfilled. I didn't feel like I was yearning. And typically for me, I know a show is good that even when it's over, even when it has bits still floating out there in the ethers, I still want more. And that's how I felt about Attack on Titan. When Attack on Titan ended, I felt like something was missing for me. And the show isn't over, of course, but when the first season ended, and the second season got here, and the third season got here, I felt like something was missing. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, I still wanted more. I wanted more depth. And that's why today I'm going to compare The Promised Neverland to Attack on Titan. Now, the similarity they have, essentially, they're both sci-fi epics. They also both feature children being put in uncomfortable positions. They also feature walls. Not metaphorical walls, but maybe also, but physical walls that keep them from the outside world, but also keep them protected in a sense. Now, I will tell you that this exploration will contain spoilers, but both these shows are so good that even with spoilers in your brain, you will still enjoy them just as much. So with that said, let's get started with today's anime debate. So if you look anywhere on the internet, you can find a varying array of opinions. And one opinion is that The Promised Neverland is ripping off Attack on Titan. Because you have the idea, again, it's a major spoiler here, we have the idea that there are monsters that are eating people. You have the idea that there is a wall to the outside world. You have children being placed in very adult situations. But I would argue that the approach is altogether dissimilar on both. With Attack on Titan, those children don't act like children. Let's be honest, they don't. They act very much so like adults. And frankly, if you swapped out the kids with adults, you wouldn't see much of a difference. You just wouldn't. But in The Promised Neverland, these are clearly children being forced to grow up. These are clearly children still behaving as children do. Emma's still precocious. Emma still has a sense of innocence sometimes. Even when it gets broken, she still has that hopefulness. And overall in Attack on Titan, you just don't have that. You have these kids that aren't really allowed to be kids, but also we're being thrown into the Attack on Titan world in the midst of this all being fairly their normal. The giants being around isn't this new concept. For The Promised Neverland, everything that we're experiencing is new to the characters for the most part. Like, of course, they're in an orphanage. Kids get, chosen by parents and get sent off. And then there's a reveal. And then the reveal is heartbreaking. And that reveal is felt by not just me, but also the characters. With Attack on Titan, there's no such reveal. It's just kind of known that there are monsters outside and horrible things happen. Now, there is a reveal later in Attack on Titan when we find that one of our protagonists has the ability to become one of the monsters and can fight back. And that keeps going on as the show continues. And there's a mystery around why that is even a thing and why that's possible. And it's cool, but it's not like earth-shattering. It's really, really cool in execution, but it's not earth-shattering. But when you find out the big reveal in The Promised Neverland, it hurts, man. Like, they make you stare at one of the dead bodies. And it's like, oh my God. And this person that, has their life taken from them, they're like one of the most happy people in the world. And it just breaks your heart. It breaks your heart. And they're not even a key player. They're not even a big character. But that's how well Attack on Titan, or rather The Promised Neverland, does at character execution. Not to say that Attack on Titan doesn't do that, but The Promised Neverland made me care in a way I didn't know I could care before, in a quick flash pan fashion. There are other deaths in this show that I still hope are red herrings. I still pray are red herrings. But who knows? This show does a really good job of having twists and turns and twists. So when comparing the two, it gets difficult because they're doing things in a similar theme, but not the same fashion as I said earlier. But I would never say that The Promised Neverland is ripping off Attack on Titan. And it's because of those reveals. The big reveal in The Promised Neverland is a journey that we're going on with the characters. And the big fight in Attack on Titan is a journey we're going on with the characters. But it's not revealed to us, it's just given to us with bits and pieces coming with it along the way. I already know from just the execution of both shows that The Promised Neverland has more to show us as we go along. And not because I've read ahead in the manga, because I have. But also I know there's more to come based on the way they do storytelling. Does it have its lulls? Absolutely. Does it have a point where I'm kind of like, okay, why do we have to be here? I don't like that new character. And we'll probably find that once that part of the show gets animated and thrown in our face next year. But I also felt that same way about Attack on Titan. When Attack on Titan came back, after that long ass wait, I think we waited like 2 years for season 2. A lot of the build-up I had and a lot of the anticipation I had kind of went away. A lot of that strong, kinetic feeling I had for the show faded. Because, I don't know, it didn't deliver the way that I thought it was going to deliver. I thought I was going to get more and I didn't. So I guess in a way, both shows can't disappoint. Now, if we're taking the principal cast into play, you have an affinity for both sets of characters, and I really can't tell you that there's a clear-out winner, which is why I don't want to do a regular anime debate on this, because I can't really compare these things in terms of music. They both do it perfectly. I can't do this thing in terms of atmosphere. I can't do it in terms of characters. Characters is excellent in both. It's damn near a tie. But I don't like ties. So I really just have a conversation about it. And if you guys ever force me to make this decision, or someone wants to come onto the show and have a real debate with me about it, feel free. I would love to do that. But I am currently in a place where my hands are tied because I look at shows very neurotically and very deeply and very nuanced as well. And these both have a bit of nuance that I can't forget about. Now, the reason this even came up for me is because I'm on Netflix, chilling, doing my thing, and I'm seeing that The Promised Neverland is on its way to Netflix, which means every anime fan that has not seen this show is going to get the opportunity. Also, I only watched it subbed. I've only seen it subbed, and my assumption, based on what has happened in the past history on Netflix, is that this is going to be a dubbed version of this show. So I'm going to watch it all over again and maybe do a review of the dub if you guys want to see that. But I know how things are going to go. People are going to watch this show and fall in love because it's amazing. And the comparisons to Attack on Titan will be stark and almost immediate if you paid attention. But I just think that these shows both deserve to be compared on their own merit. And I hope that it's understood that the wall, the children, the monsters, the reveals, and the execution aren't equal. You know? Like, the wall is a major part of Attack on Titan. Major. But in The Promised Neverland, it's simply an obstacle to be overcome. And I can't compare that and tell you that it'll ever be fair. So I would love to hear you tell me which show is better. I'd love to hear you tell me if you feel like this is in any way a ripoff in either zone. Like, do you feel like The Promised Neverland is really, really ripping off Attack on Titan? Do you think that maybe after seeing what The Promised Neverland did with base ideas that Attack on Titan introduced, they might go back and retool the current seasons or next seasons? Because I know it's based in the manga, but they can always alter things in the anime. That's always a thing, especially when money's involved. But yeah, I would love to hear you guys give your thoughts. I also will say this too, just being fair. If you get further along in the manga in both of these shows, they both change in a very, very real way. Which means this whole debate might be for naught. But I'll leave that up to you. My name is Chris. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you want to hear me compare next, what you want to hear me discuss next on the next anime debate. See you guys soon. Please hit that bell and subscribe and like and lick my toes.